listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology coach, and personalized learning coordinator for my district.
And I'm her producer and husband, Fuzz.
Hey.
Fuzz. Hi, how are you?
Well, I am well. How are you?
I am well as well.
We're in
Far
episode...
out, man.
I had something. Nope, lost it. I was going to try and be punny too.
Womp, womp.
But episode 73.
Yeah, 73.
It's not about puns.
It's not. But it could be. But it's not. Yes.
Here we are.
Here we You teach middle school. It's fine.
Yeah. So...
We're down here in the basement. I have started sealing up the basement
to make it
floor
warmer.
joists
Yeah.
to make it warmer in here. I'm an eighth of the way done.
Yep. And
My fingers are all... I tarred and feathered myself today because I accidentally got foam adhesive on my hands and then put gloves on. And that was a bad move. So
here we are in a 1/8
insulated
basement. Guess what? It's still cold.
It's freezing. And I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. So
but that's okay because we're going to talk all about space today, and it's
which
freezing
is
out in
freezing,
space.
the vast cold expanse of space.
Yeah. So we're talking about space sites this week, which is odd, but but not. Like it's so...
Yeah, like last week, our oldest daughter was out standing up, pointing apps at the sky, trying to map out constellations for school.
Yeah, so she was using them for math last week. She was mapping out stars, and they were doing distance, like a math project. She's doing online learning, so like their project stuff is obviously at home. And was 10 o'clock at night out in her winter coat, like trying to map out stars. And then using Stellarium, which was fun because we talked about that on episode 31. Yeah. That Stellarium is an awesome site for mapping out stars and figuring out like what's above your house wherever you are.
Right.
And then the youngest one, she's always into space stuff. So there's always space and NASA things going on and discussions about that. And then in my middle school, the science teacher is teaching stuff about space and stars and planets and solar system and black holes and all that kind of stuff. So it just seemed fitting that with all of this space stuff going on that we do some cool space resources. I was sharing these with some of our science teachers and our staff. And then they're just cool because even if you're not teaching space, you can use these sites in your classroom for like a brain break or just like to spark questions or do some fun with students and they're cool and they look pretty and you can putz around with them too. Like obviously they're great to share with your students, but you can stare at cool stuff and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
Explore.
The first site is, and it's kind of funny because even though they're all three totally different websites, they still have like NASA connected to them somehow. So the first one is HubbleSite.org, HubbleSite.org. And it's the Hubble Space Telescope, which is awesome. And you can just sit and leave the home screen on if you want to, because it just feels like you're floating like through the whole thing. It's kind of fun. And it's like 30 years of discovery. They've got news. So like November 12th, what NASA's Hubble sees unexplained brightness in a colossal explosion. So it's very up to date. They have news. So if you scroll down a little bit, there's like different bubbles. So you've got these great news articles, which you can use in your classroom as, like if you're going to do some reading with your students and you want to pull for information for class, or if you're reading for like language arts and those types of things, you can definitely use these articles. And then you can go, so they've got their news releases, and then they have images, which I think are just cool because you can click on them and explore and see all these cool different images that the Hubble telescope took. And if you click on different versions of it, you can see like there's an explanation with each image, and then you can download them as PNG files. you like there's like a little copyright and everything, so you can use it, and use their images, which is cool. And there's a ton of them to pick from. And then there's also a section, so back on that home page, that's where I'm working from, there's a video section where you're able then to pull up a whole different variety of videos, from explaining different programs to time-lapse videos, like a fading supernova, to like all of these just like cool images from space. They've got comets, and they just have page after page of cool images that you can kind of watch the videos of,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And they have, just like basic analysis. They have resources, so they have missions. They've got quick facts, which is nice. And then they also have the menu that I was scrolling through on the home page in the upper right hand corner of the website. You can find, if you click on like science, it'll give you the breakdown for teaching, like key concepts, exoplanets, stars, nebulas, galaxies, universe, the solar system. And if you click on those as a science teacher, they have a full glossary. They're able to explain everything, and you can click and choose, and it will go into like the electromagnetic spectrum and explains light, which we use that in a variety. I feel like our 6th grade science uses it. 8th grade science uses it. I know our high school science used it. So there's breakdowns and there's images and infographics and explanations of all of that. And then there's also in that menu, if you're choosing things like resource gallery, you can break it down. There's more images and articles, learning resources, there's ebooks. I mean, this site is just full of information about all kinds of space stuff, and then stuff that's specific to the Hubble telescope, which is pretty cool. But there's just so many options. So I feel like this could be applied to so many different subject areas, from just like journaling to staring at space and having a brain break because you can stare at this home screen. But the videos and science class and math class, and it's just cool. It's a cool way to explore and very informative. Like it's easy, it's user-friendly informative.
Yeah.
I think for kids where they can pull up information themselves, or as a teacher, you can use it as a really cool resource to share with kids.
They also have a Twitter account called Space Tele Live, where it shows you what the Hubble telescope is looking at right now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you just click on it and follow.
They just posted 9 minutes before we were recording this about they're looking at the galaxy cluster. It gives a number, tells what camera from the telescope it's using. It's pretty cool.
Cool. So yeah, you can get, I feel like, all ages involved with this site, and just there's so many cool things to explore. So our first one for our little space adventure today is HubbleSite.org. Our second one is, it's funny, I was making this connection before, like, again, everything deals with NASA, but they're all totally different.
Right.
This one is exoplanets. exoplanets.nasa.gov. And I was like, what is an exoplanet? And then of course I'm learning about exoplanets as I'm sharing this resource with others. But it's a planet that is not in our solar system. So exoplanet is any planet beyond our solar system, which I thought was cool. They orbit other stars. So then of course you're like digging in, like how many other places are there? And then there's like, I don't know, there's planet types like a super Earth. Like, what is that?
There are 4,301 confirmed, 5,650 candidates, and 3,192 planetary systems.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's just cool. And so I know our family's a big fan of Star Wars.
Yep.
So I kept thinking like, wow, like this would be so cool. It was like based on like, there are other planets out there. What's cool though is, and I just totally clicked off, and I'm going to open it back up so I can give everyone directions how they can get to it. If you go to, so the exoplanet homepage, and then if you are digging around, there's like a twirly, there's a twirly spot at the top. That makes a whole lot of sense for everybody. there is it looks like it's on the top of this.
Looks like a galaxy.
Okay, it looks like a galaxy. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's twirling.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like, what's an exoplanet? You can search for life, discovery, explore. Like all these things are across the top of your screen. But if you click on the twirly, it's like a beta.
Yep.
And you can kind of interact with the information that they have to get like visualization of how they are. So I'm going to come back to the other pages. So if you go to the twirly thing at the top of the screen, it highlights the stars, and then you have the sun, and you can like filter by planet type and missions in observatory, and you can literally scroll around your screen, like zoom in and zoom out. So like currently I'm zooming in, and if you zoom out, you can go further out, and you can manipulate your screen like a 3D model. I am currently 7,076 light years away from Earth. Wow. And it's showing me the images of like the stars, and like I'm in the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. So you can like twirl around and zoom around like these stars. I'm currently
looking at Kepler 62, which is 1,200 light years from Earth.
And then if you click on it, like if you click on the stars, it'll zoom in, and then you can see the different stars close up and what the different like system looks like around it. It's so cool. So it's called Eyes on Exoplanets Beta, and it's like a 3D modeling, zooming around of the solar system. But specifically these exoplanets that are outside of our solar system, where you can like cruise around.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's worth playing around with, just to go zoom in and play around with stuff. It's so cool. So that's the twirly on the top of the home screen. But again, it goes into exoplanets, explains them all, which is cool. You can search for life. So that if you're going to have some little sci-fi exploration, you can search for life on other planets, and they've got videos that go with that, and kind of like what things might look like, and where is everyone, and aliens versus like what people are making stuff up. There's just so much information. But a cool thing to explore, they have a whole section for discoveries. So they have like a discovery dashboard that shows you the latest data that NASA's kind of gathered on different exoplanets in their archives. And the planet names are these weird like number letter information, and then like planet type. So it's like a gas planet, how they found it, when they discovered it. And so there's just really cool data that they've pulled. And then you can explore things and do, like I said, that 3D eyes on exoplanets, they have that option. And then there's more, and then there's for scientists, and then they have like a little exploration program you can sign up for. They have a glossary. Anyway, it's just, again, packed full of information, but super cool to play around with, and you can explore it, but have your students explore it, and they could pretend like they're traveling to an exoplanet. They could, research and compare these exoplanets. And
yeah, it's cool. If you click on missions, you can check out the different telescopes and satellites that we have that are out floating around collecting.
So that's under Discovery, right? You go under Discovery and go under missions.
Yeah. Yep. And it's really cool. You can toggle around and see the 3D models of the different telescopes and such. And
they also have. Go ahead.
Oh, and then you can see what their you can like see compare the size between that and a school bus. So like the Hubble telescope is as long as a school bus.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool.
It is cool. And they also have a section for people, which is kind of cool. You get to know the scientists and kind of what they do, and so it kind of connects to the people that are part of the program as well. That's also under the Discovery area.
Yeah.
So It's cool. It's fun to play around with, and like makes you think of how like insignificant we are
Right.
in this whole like space. So again, that one's exoplanets.nasa.gov.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. And there's one more. I couldn't, and I only like came up with 3. There was probably like 100 like
Sure.
cool space sites, but I'm highlighting 3 this week. I feel like this is gonna be like a 12-part series, like space, because it's cool and we can pretend like we're traveling through space. The last one I have is a little more. I feel like the first 2 are a little more academic or a little more like big images and stuff like that. And the third one I feel is a little younger, so we can have some. I mean, everybody can explore the other ones, but this one's called spaceplace.nasa.gov. And this one has cool information on the solar system, but it also has like craft projects and stuff too.
Oh,
so
sure.
this one's going to be interactive.
This one looks a little bit more
It's younger.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was, it's like, what is an asteroid? And they've got cool pictures that you can click on. It gives you the answer. And then it gives you fun cartoon images. Where do they come from? Are they all the same? And it kind of rattles off facts, but it's in a much more like younger, user-friendly type images and
Sure.
that kind of thing.
Let me ask you this real quick
this,
question. So go to Space Place. We have the navigation here. As an educator, have you ever actually received an apple from a student?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
Only because they watch too much TV, or
I feel like a handful of times in my lifetime I have received apples, but it's been like they were giving it like out apples and like cheese sticks during
Sure.
testing, and they're like, "Oh, my teacher, here, Mrs. Martin, you can have my apple,"
Yeah.
because teachers like apples.
I don't know how the apple ever got associated with the teacher.
Well, I think
We should look that up.
we should. We can share that on the next episode. My guess is though, way back when, like one-room schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Like apples and fruit, like people didn't have as much.
They
as
didn't
we
have
have.
Cheez-Its back then.
Right? They didn't have Starbucks gift cards
You're
to
right.
give their teachers. And I'm guessing like an apple was a treat, or, like a healthy treat kind of thing. So like it was a gesture of appreciation, maybe?
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's what it was. There's an apple in the
There's an
menu.
apple under the educator icon. Yes.
So, I mean-
let me click on the apple.
Yeah.
So then it's all set up like NASA Home. So in here, they have coloring pages, they have partner programs. But what I do like about this one is there's activities for the classroom, so you can click on it. And they literally have like science projects that are space related set right up for you. Like the pinhole camera where you can kind of see, you like set up the light so that you can see like the reflection and stuff. They have like engineering structures, they have designing all kinds of stuff. Pluto or bust, they've got cute little activities with engineering and design and astronomy. So they have a whole list, which is awesome for teachers. And these are, I know we're not doing as many hands-on things now, but they're also things that could be done at home. They don't require a bunch of stuff, which is nice. They have science fair projects. They have astronomy clubs, how to set them up. They've got, again, printable stuff. But
They've got lists of standards and stuff like that.
Yep,
for
it's
science.
all aligned. They have Eclipse, which is kind of cool, where they have, is it like slowing, loading? They have all these different videos, so you can pull up NASA Eclipse, which is actually another NASA site that you can use. They're broken down by grade level, so 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9, 12 student productions, and they connect NASA and space and video collections set up for those grade levels, so they have links to those too, which is pretty cool.
Very good.
And they have crafts. They have craft buttons.
Well,
where
we
you can
all know
click
you
on
love
it,
a good
and
craft.
I love a good craft.
We're
Like,
actually broadcasting from your craft table
we
right
are.
now.
Yes. So like with shaving cream, paper, a cardboard squeegee, and food coloring, you can make a cool like sun. It's so cool. But yeah, so there's crafts, there's all kinds of stuff. So this is definitely for a younger audience, but could be used with an older audience.
Sure.
I just think that for navigation, younger students could explore this on their own.
Yep.
And not have any issues with understanding the content on the site. So,
Yeah.
But there's solar system stuff, there's universe stuff, science and tech, but it's a lot of hands-on, and they have games on this one too, which I forgot to mention. There's a whole game section, so if you click on the little game button, then they have like interactive games that you can play about space and satellites, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
I always think a little bit like Magic School Busy is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just interactive cool stuff. But yes, so spaceplace.nasa.gov is for a little bit of a younger audience, but definitely still lots of really good information there and a ton of resources for teachers. Just look for the apple. It screams teacher.
Yes, it does.
Cool. I'm excited for
Far
space
out.
things. Yeah. I have like nothing today. I keep thinking like there's all these cool, fun puns I would come up with space, and I've got nothing right now.
No, that's I've got nothing either. I can't even pun it up. I've been making so many puns over the last few days.
You're punned out.
I'm punned out. It's no longer
nothing.
punny.
There's no space in your brain.
There we go.
Hey,
yes.
got one.
Yes, but if it's any constellation, I.
And we're done. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in the episode, you can visit smartnwi.com. Don't forget about that nifty EdTech Directory.
What?
New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
You're actually currently wearing our empathy shirts.
I am.
From the website.
One of my favorites.
Very nifty design.
Empath
E. Check it out. Go to smartandwi.com, click on the shop, and then you can check out the empathy shirt, which is pretty cool. It's pretty neat design.
It's a puzzler.
It is. But go there and check it out. The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart and WI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we sure hope they do. And we'll talk to you again next week on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.